Hello YouTube, welcome back to In the Kitchen with Dan. Today we're going to make some comfort food. Type of comfort food? How about some chicken noodle soup? Just kidding YouTube, we're not going to make our chicken noodle soup out of a can. Today's chicken noodle soup, we're going to make it homemade. We are going to make our chicken noodle soup using a pressure cooker. So today's In the Kitchen with Dan episode is going to have a couple different segments. The first segment is going to cover the pressure cooker itself. For those that are not familiar with the pressure cooker, I'll hit on a couple things with the pressure cooker to explain it and a little bit of how it works and the functions on this particular pressure cooker. After that, then using the pressure cooker, we're going to cook up our chicken. This chicken noodle soup that I'm going to make, I'm going to have shredded chicken, so I'm going to shred it up after it's cooked, and then we're going to add our vegetables. And then after our vegetables are cooked up, then we're going to saute our noodles. It'll all come together to have a nice, hearty, and tasty and homemade chicken noodle soup. Let's get to it. Today, to make our chicken noodle soup, we're going to use the Power Pressure Cooker XL. This particular pressure cooker has several functions. The functions on this pressure cooker has a delay timer, has for canning and preserving, has for soups and stews, has slow cook for slow cooker, the rice and risotto button, beans and lentils, fish, vegetables for steaming, chicken and meat, has the timer adjust button on it, so you can adjust the time, whatever functions you hit, whatever time it is, you can increase it. And it's 1 minute for each one. And then you also have the cancel and warming button here at the top. This particular pressure cooker has a digital LED display. It also has a saute button to saute ingredients inside the pot. It also has an indicator for the different types of rices. So when you hit the rice button, it'll light up each indicator. But this one has white rice, brown rice, and wild rice. So for this particular pressure cooker, those are the functions for this model. Each pressure cooker has its own functions. There are different parts to each pressure cooker. This pressure cooker, obviously, it has the lid. With a lid, it has different parts to it. On top of the lid, you have the rapid release valve and the floating valve. The floating valve is this one with a little red button that I'm pushing up and down. This is the rapid release valve. When the pressure cooker works, you line up these two little arrows, and when the lid's on top, it builds a pressure inside, and it keeps the pressure in, which will pop up the red floating valve, letting you know that it's pressurized and that it's starting to cook. To release the pressure, you turn it and the pressure release valve to let the pressure out. Once the pressure is out of the pressure cooker, the red floating release valve will drop down, letting you know you can now open it. This pressure cooker is also set up so that way the lid will not open unless it's been depressurized. The lid itself has a couple more components to it. It has its pot lid liner and the rubber gasket. The rubber gasket, this is really important before you make any ingredients or any food inside the pressure cooker. It's always important that you make sure that there's no defects on this rubber gasket. So before you ever use it, make sure you always check that gasket out. The gasket itself fits around the pot lid liner, just like this. Then it has a little tab that'll be pointing inside the pot away from the lid itself. And to attach that, you just slide that right into on top of the lid. Has a little stem sticking out of the top. Slide it in there. The lid's good to go. Now that we checked everything, the rubber gasket's good to go, and it's attached to the pot lid liner. Our lid's ready to go. The pressure cooker itself has the inner pot, which slides out. This is the base of the pressure cooker. Inside it looks just like this. If it ever gets dirty, you can just wipe it down with a cloth. You can see at the bottom it has this little metal button. It's the little spring for the weight, just like a rice cooker. It also comes with a little metal rack to keep things off the floor of the pressure cooker. If you want to keep things off the bottom of the pot, has its cord, and then of course the inner pot. The inner pot has its max line. Everything's documented and detailed inside there. And of course it fits and slides right inside the base of the pressure cooker. For today's chicken noodle soup, the ingredients that we're going to need and use are 4 skinless chicken breasts, a bag of egg noodles. I already placed them inside the bowl. I'll rinse those off in a little bit. We're going to use some chicken broth, about 8 cups. I'm going to use the liquid chicken broth. However, I prefer to use the better than bouillon, but I have some liquid that I have to use, so I'm going to finish those up. I like the better than bouillon. It has less sodium. Also going to use 4 celery stalks, 4 carrots. I'll chop both of those up. We're also going to use a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of dried thyme. So those are our ingredients. We're going to start off, we're going to season our chicken breast with some salt and pepper. We'll season both sides. After we season both sides, we'll get those inside the pot. Okay, this is the inside of the pot. Before we get our chicken inside there, we're going to put 3/4 cup of chicken broth inside. We're going to add the metal rack. The reason being, I just don't want the chicken laying in the liquid right now. If you don't have the metal rack, it's fine to place the chicken inside. But since I seasoned it, I just wanted it off the bottom of the inner pot. Since we're just using 4 chicken breasts, I'll set it up so that way they're evenly flat inside there. Once all the chicken's inside there, we'll place the lid on top. You heard the beep, let us know that the lid's on correctly. I'll set up the rapid release valve, that way the arrows are set up so that way it can pressurize. Now that the lid's on, we're going to go ahead and press the chicken and meat button, which gives us 15 minutes. So it'll come to pressure. Once it comes to pressure, we'll count down from 15 minutes cooking and pressurizing the chicken. After 15 minutes, we'll come back and see what we have. Okay, it took 8 minutes for the pressure to pressurize inside the pressure cooker. Now that it's pressurized, now it's going to start the countdown from 15 minutes, cooking the chicken inside. We'll be back in 15 minutes to get our chicken out and continue on with our chicken noodle soup. This is my little KitchenAid chopper. Today's chicken noodle soup, I'm going to go ahead and chop it up. Instead of having it in chunks, I'm going to have it shredded. Has a puree and chop button. Has a little lid right here where you press the button in and everything operates. The lid comes off. You could add liquids to the top there if you needed to make a salad dressing or something. But you press that little button there and then it turns on and spins to chop everything up. Comes with one little blade. Of course, the top comes off. This is probably my favorite gadget we have in the kitchen. I use it all the time. Just slide the blade in just like that. It's real easy to store. Around the base here, it has the cord. It wraps up inside it. So you unravel it. And you get it plugged in. So after our chicken's done, we're going to go ahead and put it in here and shred it and get it back at the pot. 15 minutes are up, so our chicken's ready. We're going to hit the
pressure release valve to let the pressure out. Get the rag on top of it to gather all that liquid coming out so it doesn't get on the cabinet. You see the little red valve still standing up, so when that drops we know we can open up the lid. Here it is from the side angle. You hear the steam coming out, and of course the little valve's still up, so it's still letting the pressure out. Once the valve drops, we'll go ahead and we can open up the lid and get our chicken out. Now that the valve dropped, we can open up our lid, and there's our chicken. It's all moist and juicy inside there. We'll get the chicken out and we'll use my little chopper and get it all chopped up. So I sliced up a little bit of chicken. As you can see, it's all cooked. There's no pink, it's all moist and juicy. Get those placed inside the chopper. So we'll chop up all the chicken that we cooked up inside the pressure cooker. Once it's all shredded, then we'll continue on with our chicken noodle soup. All of our chicken has now been shredded, so we'll get that into the pot and get everything going. Before we continue on making our chicken noodle soup, we'll get the metal rack out of our pressure cooker. We won't need this anymore. Little piece of chicken still hanging on in there. We'll dump in our chopped chicken, or shredded chicken, should I say. We'll add up our carrots and our celery, get those in there. Our thyme, the remainder of our salt and pepper that we didn't season the chicken with earlier. Now we'll add in the remainder of our chicken broth. It took 8 minutes for the chicken itself to be pressurized before it started cooking. Since we're putting all this liquid in here and with the ingredients, obviously it's going to weigh more, and so it's going to take a little bit longer for it to come to pressure. We'll give it a quick stir. Let all the ingredients get to know each other inside there. Now that we've got everything mixed, we'll get the lid put on there. So get the rapid release valve all lined up so it could build up pressure. Then we're going to hit the rice button because that gives us 6 minutes. Then the time adjust, I'm going to give it 2 more minutes, so give it a total of 8 minutes. Okay, it took 12 minutes for it to come to pressure, and then after it came to pressure, it did its countdown, so we have 1 minute left after the 8 minutes of cooking. And it's all finished. Release the pressure valve, let the pressure out. Cover it up for the steam. Once the red valve drops, we'll open it up and look at all our contents. The valve dropped, let us open up the lid. So there's our chicken and our vegetables after 8 minutes of cooking. Now we're going to add in our noodles. I rinsed those. We'll mix our noodles in. Introduce them to the pot and everybody else in the party there. And then to cook the noodles, I'm going to press the saute button. And it shows 20 minutes, so for 20 minutes with one press of the saute, it's going to heat it up inside. After a few minutes, you can see with the sauteing how it comes to a boil, cooking the noodles up. So mix those up. It's been about 10 minutes. Check out to see how the noodles are. Test them and see if they're al dente. They are al dente. So our chicken noodle soup's all ready to go. Get in a bowl and give it a taste. Smells delicious. Get some more liquid in there since it's soup. And there you have it, our pressure cooker chicken noodle soup. It smells delicious and it tastes delicious. It's nice and warm.
Well, there you go, YouTube. A nice hearty homemade chicken noodle soup that we made in a pressure cooker. The recipe that we made today actually made 15 servings. If you'd be interested in making today's recipe, in the description below, I'll put down the ingredients and go step by step and explain exactly the steps that I did today. If you do decide to make this chicken noodle soup, in the comments let me know how you liked it, or if there's anything that you added that made it special to you. Also, if you haven't already, if you'd like and subscribe my channel, and in the comments below, if there's anything you'd like me to make in the future, whether it's through the stovetop, using an air fryer, or with a pressure cooker, let me know and we'll see if we can make that happen. Well, thank you for watching. Again, like and subscribe. Until next time, adios.